element. The first is population element. Population element is your respondents on whom you're going to study. The whole research is being done. Even if you're doing on secondary research analysis and you're not having any kind of primary respondents, even in that point of time also you can select the population element. Say for example, if I'm doing on financial markets, right? So all the financial markets of India would be my population element. From that, I may have to select few samples that I can write into sampling units. But even in secondary research analysis, population elements would be there. Most of the researchers are having this confusion that what is to be written while we are doing on completely secondary database research. You can write this into secondary research also. Okay, so this population element is on whom you're going to do the survey, be it any company, be it consumers, be it investors, be it businessman, be it bank, any of the respondents can be there. So population element have to be written. Then we should definitely talk about the sampling frame. Now sampling frame, the concept is confused by many people in many ways, but I'll definitely give you a very clear-cut explanation of what is research frame. Research frame is nothing but a criteria or a direction from which you have selected your samples, right? Say for example, if you're going to conduct a survey on preference and satisfaction of iPhone users, right? So I'll just frame the whole research sampling design for that. So what would be my population elements? I'll just take a minute to come out of this window and switch to the Word so that I can explain you there how to write. So let's say for example, my title is preference and satisfaction of, pardon me with the spelling errors as I'm writing very fast, preference and satisfaction for iPhone users. Okay, I'm trying to cover so many things in a short period of time, so going a little fast with this. Okay, so let's say for example, this is my title. So I'll frame the whole research methodology, main chunk of it. Research design would be descriptive. How descriptive? Because I'm going to describe the preference and satisfaction. So I'm writing descriptive research design. Okay, then sampling method, sampling design. So what I can write over here in sampling design is few things to cover. First is population elements. So what are the population elements over here, everyone? Can somebody write in the chat box? What are the population elements over here? In this case, whom you are going to do the survey? Respondents kaun hai? Just write down in the chat box if you have understood. We'll take up the query of Edit GPT later on. Consumers of iPhone, very good. So over here, your population elements would be iPhone users, right? So what will be your sampling frame? Now this frame could be geographical frame or it could be demographical frame, right? Now geographical frame would, if I'm taking the respondents from Gujarat, so Gujarat would be my geographical frame for this. And demographical frame, if I'm doing on youngsters, so I can take up age bracket as my demographic frame. So I'm doing the survey on 20 to 35. So all youngsters I'm taking, right? So this is my sampling frame. So in short, the criteria or the whole box from which you are taking, the whole frame from which you are selecting your sample. So I am going to select iPhone users who are of age bracket between 20 to 35 and who are from Gujarat. You understand? I hope sampling frame is clear to you people. Yes, I can take up any demographic variable as a sampling frame. If I'm doing on female could be my sampling frame. If I'm doing on, say, for example, business people, if I'm doing a survey on retirement planning, and if I'm doing on business people, then this businessman would be my sampling frame. I'm just focusing upon the users who are doing their business and then I'm following them. So this is clear about sampling frame, everyone? Just give me a thumbs up if you're clear. Thank you so much, Hed. Thank you so much, Milan sir. Okay, let's go further with this. So what else we will be including into this is sample size. So say for example, if I am taking 1,000 people who are from Gujarat in the age bracket of 20 to 35, then sample size would be 1,000. Who are my sampling units? Okay, youngsters who are, okay, iPhone users from Gujarat. Okay, so they are my sampling units. Am I very clear? Then let me see if I have missed out anything. Sampling method, yes. So sampling method would be, now sampling method is one separate, topic on which I can conduct the session. But right now, due to the time constraint, say for example, sampling method is, there are two types of sampling method. Sampling method means by which method you are selecting your samples out of your population, right? So say for example, there could be two methods of doing the sampling. I'll let you know that. So there are two methods by which you can do the sampling: probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Satyam, I'll definitely address your question of how to select the sample size. First, let me explain you that what are the two methods of sampling. There are probability sampling and there are non-probability sampling methods. Probability sampling methods are those methods wherein you give equal chance to all the respondents to get selected as a sample. And if you don't give an equal chance to all the respondents to get selected as sample, that is called non-probability sampling method. In probability sampling method, it is important to have a list of all the elements under the population. Only then you can give the equal chance, right? So that is the way. There could be four types. You can just go and you refer to Deepak Chawla. There are four methods of probability sampling method and non-probability sampling method. Obviously, I can't just go on sampling for the whole lecture. So you can just refer to Deepak Chawla. It is written very nicely into Deepak Chawla about the sampling methods. Now, addressing the query of Satyam, how to decide the sample size, right? Especially when you are doing PhD or your research paper, it is important to decide your sample size. So there are three formulas by which you can, decide your sample size using your standard deviation, Z square, standard deviation square wala formula आप use कर सकते हो. If you don't have anything, just a Z and an error, 1/4 Z square upon E square, you can use this formula. You can again refer to Deepak Chawla. There are three basic formulas you can select the sample size with. Okay. So going back to the slide, so this is the thing that you should compile into a research sampling design. These are the things that you should talk about. Now, you should also mention about the limitations of the study. You should definitely mention about the limitations of the study so that, people can understand. I would recommend that if you wish to go for a good research paper, then keep your sample size more than 500. When you are going for 150, 200 sample size, obviously your data would not be normal and you won't be able to run the parametric test. So it is important that you should go for. Yes, Kishore, you're correct. If you want me to tell me the sampling methods, I can definitely tell you. There are all probability sampling methods: simple, random, systematic, stratified, cluster. Okay, and if you are using many of them, you can write multi-phase.